Bam, just like that, back with another Portable Clint. Guys, my next guest, I've known him for a very long time, but I don't know him like I want to know him, because that's why we're here today. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Plotnick. Whoa, whoa.
Dramatic. Hello, everyone out there. Thank you for having me.
Jack,
this is an honor.
No, I'm honored because, Jack, let me tell you something.
The names you have had on this show, to be a little tiny sliver of that is just wow.
Well, okay, Jack, I wanted to text, if I was a closer friend to you, I would have texted you a lot last night. Let me tell you the reason why. I watched a lot of your videos, and I am just blown away with what you have done. And I'm going to say this, I don't normally say this, I got two things.
Okay.
I am excited for your future in Hollywood.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm talking about you still got a gigantic future in this business. Even though you've been
I'm dubious.
I know, but I don't think Hollywood really has appreciated you yet. I know they've hired you a lot, but I don't think they've actually have tuned in to Jack Plotnick like I think they should.
That is so kind of you. When you're talking about the videos I put out on like Instagram and Facebook.
I went to your YouTube page, which I don't know why you don't have more followers. I'm not trying to knock you, but dude, you got to get your content to different.
Yeah, you know, because I didn't premiere my content on YouTube, and that was the problem. I just started doing it on Facebook and Instagram, and so YouTube is just where I send them like a library, and people don't know they're there. Yeah.
Okay, but Jack, you need to advertise because the content you created is so funny. Again, and you know what I love about it? You get in, you get out with your humor. It's not like, oh my God, 10 more minutes of this. You literally have a minute video, you have a 20-minute video.
Yeah, you know what was a great learning tool was I started on Instagram, and you only had a minute originally on Instagram.
Right.
So I really learned how to just tell it in a minute, and it really taught me how to kill my babies.
Yes.
You can see my YouTube just by typing my name in, Jack Plotnick. That's if you want to see the videos. Yeah.
Okay, well, Jack, I at this point, I would already be into the beginnings of you, but I'm going to say one more other thing.
Well,
yeah. First of all, do you realize that we worked together?
I know we did, but I don't remember what it was.
You and
it was so long ago.
It was long ago. It was a Nintendo commercial where the girl the water breaks.
Yes.
I was going to post that yesterday.
That was a filthy commercial.
Yeah, filthy commercial.
Oh my God! Did it even? Were they allowed to air it?
No, because I think that was the director's cut that his friend saw. Okay.
Literally, she broke water in the commercial, and not a little.
It was a lot.
Spouting geyser. She was the Mount Rushmore of deliveries.
Okay, Jack, last thing, and then we're going to get to business.
We were babies.
Yes, we were babies. My favorite, man, I got so much stuff that I want to say to you, but my favorite video of yours right now.
Oh, I love talking about the videos I'm making now because they bring me so much joy.
Well,
so this
hang on
is
a
so
second.
fun
I
for
don't
me.
know what this is. By the way, I love all of your stuff, but I don't know what this one was for.
Was it a sex tape?
No.
That was not supposed to. That was for private.
That's you porn, not YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The Best Buy audition.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Tell me about that quick, please.
Well, yeah, that was an incredible thing. So at the time I was doing a movie that with a French director, and it was my favorite role maybe I've ever done. And we were coming towards the end of that film, and a director who I'd worked with before was having a commercial director was having a hard time finding the kind of lead hero guy for Best Buy's launch in London, in the UK.
Okay.
And so he called me, he said, we've seen everybody, we can't find somebody who can joyfully dance down the street. That's all they needed. And so he said, could you just film something and send it in? They weren't even seeing, I don't think, American, I don't know, they were kind of looking all over the world for just somebody who could do that. And so basically after we were done shooting one day on the film, I asked the guy with the camera, I said, would you just be willing to film me joyfully dancing down the street? And so I put the song Stayin Alive on my phone, I put it in my pocket, I danced around, and when you're working, you're so happy as an actor. And so this audition caught me at a wonderful moment because I was nearing the end of the lead role in this film. And so I was in just such a free and joyful place. And we shot this audition. And the interesting thing was that the audition what the commercial was going to be set to the song Blue Jeans, which is a great song, but I didn't have it on my phone. I had Stayin Alive. So I put the song Blue Jeans over my audition and sent it in, and it just happened to match the beat exactly. And it's probably just, it's one of the things I'm most proud of. And I did book the job, but the sad thing was that Best Buy, I went to London, I filmed it, there's stories to tell there, but the sad thing was that Best Buy just did not take on. London was not interested in an American tech store, so that went away pretty quick.
But Jack, let me say this. You could tell you look happy inside coming out because there's just something really pleasant to watch. It's called Jack Plotnick Best Buy Audition.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. I sent it to my mom last night. My mom, she likes neat little videos that you have a toe tapping too, and she loved it.
Yeah, all I can say is it caught me at a marvelous moment in my life. And at that same time, I was in the middle of writing what ended up being my Broadway musical. So that year of my life was an incredible, joyful, and what's that word? But productive year of my life. And so it's nice to have a bit of a time capsule. And that's a fun thing about being an actor is every moment of our life that we're making content, you have that moment to savor. Like when you get old and you're looking at what did I used to look like?
Right. No, Jack, you captured it great. Here's the problem, Jack. So as one video would end, another video would start, and I find myself watching the next video. But then I found myself learning through your videos because you teach acting. And Jack, I hate acting coaches. I've never been to one. That's probably the reason why my career is exactly where it is. But I actually learned stuff from you last night. One of your tips was don't put anything on the material. Don't make any choices.
Yeah.
And that is so true, and I just loved everything that you were saying. So my hat off to you, brother, because I was really, really, truly impressed doing research on you. More so pretty much on anyone else I've ever done. I'm not kidding. I was really impressed.
Well, I've lived a long time and I'm a busy man.
Okay.
You know, I wanted to find a way to give back. I was seeing a therapist when I turned 30 to deal with, those kind of large life moments, and we were talking about, I wanted to give back, and I was like, but I don't want to hold a dying person's hand, and I forget. She goes, is holding a dying person's hand the only way you can help people? And I was like, okay, maybe you're right. And I realized, you know what, sharing sort of my joyful approach to acting was something that I had already been doing anyway, and it's grown, and now I teach on both coasts, and I don't charge much, and I do like a bi-monthly lecture where I give all the money to charity, because this is like my way of doing service, and as actors, so much of what we do feels selfish, because artists are supposed to, you have to be selfish to do your craft, and so this is my way of not feeling selfish and giving back.
Well, Jack,
and I have a free book, ebook called New Thoughts for Actors, which is everything I teach, and I just give it away for free on my website because I'm not looking to make money from it.
I'm gonna get that.
Yeah, it's on the website. It's free.
Okay. JackPlotnick.com?
Yeah, and you click on teacher.
Okay, Jack, let's get down to business. Okay.
Because this is a business.
Let's get down to business. Exactly. Jack.
Yes.
When did you think about becoming an actor in the biz of showbiz?
Well, because when did I think of becoming an actor is different than in the biz of showbiz.
Right,
because I was in 5th grade, but I didn't even know there was a thing called showbiz.
Okay, tell me what happened in 5th grade. What I want to know when you have that moment.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of people is when they heard their clapping for the very first time. I'm like, oh, I want that. So what was it that got you?
That's a great question. So there were different little moments, and one was 3rd grade playing the mirror in Snow White. That was just me going, oh, there's a thing called pretend where you say lines. But I think the moment, because I was a kid in Ohio, middle of nowhere, didn't understand or know about any of that stuff. But I was in 6th grade, and they took us to the high school to see the musical, which was Oklahoma, and everybody was on stage in this crazy pancake makeup that made them look like orange, and they were singing songs, and this blew my mind. And I guess that was probably the moment I went, oh, there's a thing called theater I could do. And I had been obsessed with the Carol Burnett show and with Star Trek and these TV shows, but I just didn't think that was something I could do. So seeing that made me, and so what I did was, I remember I loved Stayin Alive as well. And the interesting thing is that Carol Burnett, Star Trek and Stayin Alive run as a thread through my life in everything I've done.
I can tell.
Yeah,
go
it's
ahead.
so
No,
weird.
seriously,
But
wow, that's
maybe
great.
we'll touch on that later. But the point is that I would ask my 5th grade teacher, can I stop school and make all the 5th graders watching me do my Stayin Alive news update sketch? And they let me, which is, I don't know why. So I guess it all started there with me realizing, hey, if I do a sketch, the teacher lets me out in the hall and I can stop class. And so I guess
That's
there,
awesome.
yeah.
I love that, Jack. Okay, when do you start thinking about loading up a car and going to either New York or LA? I don't know where you went, but tell me
Well,
what you
know,
did.
all there was available in Ohio was musical theater at the Children's Theater or in the community theater, and so I just thought that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
Because it was like, well, that's what I'm doing now, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I went. So for me, it wasn't about. I didn't start at all with thinking I could ever get work. It just was, I got into a college and I trained for 4 years and got a BFA in musical theater, which I thought I was going to do. I literally auditioned for Cats, people. Like I thought maybe I'll be a Cats performer in Germany, and could not walk the next day.
Right.
Just couldn't walk. So I clearly I didn't understand what I was going to really be doing. And so then what happened was that I was in New York and I'm doing a musical at the same time I'm doing the sketch show with my writing partner, Seth Rudetsky. And I kind of realized while I was on stage doing the musical Grand Hotel, which is the most boring musical to be in the chorus of, but it's a great show. Anyway, I'm watching this guy eat spaghetti. It was a dinner theater, watching me do my boring dance steps for Grand Hotel, and I realized I'm happier doing the sketch show. And that was a really big changing point for me, of the first time I took the power back and said, what do I want to do? And and then I booked my first TV job in New York.
And that was in 1996, is that correct? Or wait, no, 93? No. 96 was Murphy Brown. Is that correct? You
That
booked
sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'd moved to LA at that
Yes.
time. Yeah.
So here's what I'm trying to say. You got your first credit in 1995 on IMDb. Okay?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so know that. But here's what's really impressive, though, okay? Excuse me. Is that you have a credit on IMDb for every single year since you started to be an actor. From
cool.
95 to 2020. I mean, Jack, that's good, dude. That's really impressive,
That is,
man.
when you put it that way.
And what's hard about you have 120 IMDb credits. That makes it hard for me to figure out how to go through your career because we can't stop at every single one.
Yeah, it's been a lot of.
It's been a lot. So here's what I'm going to ask you. How many false starts have you had in this business? When I say false starts, meaning, all right, I'm going to make, I just booked this part. This is what's going to take off. I'm going to take off from here.
That's so interesting. I only had one moment. Well, okay, so the first moment like that, and I didn't have many because I never really saw my career as being Brad Pitt. So I never thought, oh, I'm going to be super famous. But an actor's career kind of goes like that. It goes up, up, up. But the thing is, then it has to go down.
Yeah.
And that happened to me when I was 30. And a lot of actors, when that first down goes, because it's going to happen for all of us unless you're Angelina Jolie. Anyway, it can really wreck an actor, and so I went to therapy to sort of deal with it. And for me, what it was is things had been building. I was getting this work. I appeared on the Oscars in Ian McKellen's Oscar clip, which, wow. But anyway, then I got my series. And
What series?
It was called Action.
Action was great. I have it literally. I wrote that one name down.
Yeah.
Action was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. It was fantastic, and it was so mishandled. And I actually bumped into. Look, I'm not in his circles. I bumped into Joel Silver because I was with my friend Seth Rudetsky, who. Anyway, he literally said to me, last year, he goes, what did he say? He said they fucked that up. Action should have ran for years on HBO.
Yes.
And it probably would have, but the showrunner made some really bad choices. So anyway, so for me, that was the first time when Action ended that I was like, what should I do now? And my career was kind of taking a life of its own, and now it doesn't feel like it has a life of its own, and now it's up to me. And so I'm so happy I got into therapy so I could not just sit around and get depressed as a lot of actors. I've seen a lot of actors
Sure,
do.
sure, yeah, they do.
So that was the first time.
Okay, so that was the first time and only
then-
time. With 120 credits, you only thought you were going to make it after one thing you booked. Is that what you're telling me, Jack?
Make it is such a tricky thing. I think probably what I came to realize after that is that I wanted to be an artist, and an artist is just always working. That's how I wanted my career to look. I was just like, I just want to be a Hollywood working actor, and so I never really kind of again after that thought, well, I want to make it, so, but what did happen is there were moments in my life where I thought, okay, I've directed a Broadway musical and a Sony Pictures feature film. Am I going to make it as a film director? And but that didn't quite happen because people didn't just start throwing film directing jobs at me, and I don't think I invited them to necessarily either.
Jack, I've never done this before, okay? But if I had to recreate you, and I had a blender, and I had to pick 3 actors to put into the blender to create you.
Do you have 3?
I have 3.
Oh my God.
And if I insult you by any of these names, please forgive me.
Pee Wee Herman.
No.
Gloria Gaynor.
Okay, wait, let me hear your 3.
No,
What 3?
no,
Okay.
I don't have 3.
Okay, here's the 3 that I would put in the blender. Martin Short,
Oh wow, I love him.
Ed Norton,
Wow.
and Crispin Glover.
Oh wow.
What do you think?
I don't know. That touches me because I got to remember to think on this later. I got to think on that. I love it. It obviously hit something deep inside me. And I love that you gave that thought.
Well, again, I said this before, and I'm going to quit making it all about you because it is all about you, but I just don't want to keep complimenting and not listening. So let me give you one last compliment. I wish, who's the guy who created 2.5 Men? Chuck Lorre.
Oh yeah.
Have you been in front of Chuck Lorre before?
I did a guest spot on 2.5 Men, but it was kind of a thankless role.
I think that he needs to know about you in a bigger way. I just feel like you are primed for a CBS sitcom. And I don't know. So I'm giving you that. Do whatever you want with that, but I really feel that your best days in Hollywood are still in front of you.
Well, I would love to think that there's still work ahead for me.
There is.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's an artist's job to just keep letting people know what they do in hopes that the right person sees it. And I just literally this month, after 10 years, updated my reel, so finally did that.
Nice, it's good.
But that's one of the big reasons why I'm making these videos. Number one is to just be happy. When an artist isn't doing what they do, it can bring about unhappiness.
Yes.
So, but the really great thing is in the last year or two, I've booked 2 really big jobs from my stupid minute-long Instagram videos.
I believe it. Tell me how
But
you
maybe
booked
I
those.
don't take the next step and go, okay, so I booked the jobs at this level. How do I force Chuck Lorre to look at my
Yeah.
videos? I'm not doing that, and so this is inspiring me to maybe do that.
Well, you need to do that. But wait, I
Okay.
want to know how you booked two
Oh, okay.
gigs from that, just so if somebody's at home watching this,
Well,
they
I
go,
tell
"Man,
actors, you gotta do what you do for the love of doing it. If you're in class doing what you do, no one's going to see that. And
Exactly.
and you're surrounding yourself by other artists who have given up their power to some coach who has all the answers supposedly. But basically, what happened was one job was that I did this whole series of videos as this really mean art teacher who is just inept and cruel to the children. And at the same time that I was putting out these videos, this casting director for a TV show called Z Nation, it's
Yes.
on Netflix, it's about the zombie apocalypse, but it's real quirky. Anyway, he was looking for the villain of the last season of that show, and this video popped up on his Facebook feed, and he went, oh yeah, I remember Jack Plotnick, I like him, he will not get this role, because they really were seeing some big names, but he just brought me in just because he remembered he liked me, and I booked this big year-long role on Z Nation because I was putting that out there. And the other one was this kid who was about to film a movie where he needed a guy to play this old woman and her son. I had just been doing, Brandon Rogers is a terrific YouTube artist, and he does all these really, I'm such a huge fan of his, and I met him because he likes a movie I produced and starred in, and so he put me in one of his films playing Hitler's mom. And so while I was filming Hitler's mom and I had the makeup on, I just snuck away and filmed this little weird video series where I'm this very Christian conservative woman from the 1960s. And this was something I filmed in 5 minutes and just put on Instagram. So it came across his feed and he was like, oh my God, Jack Plotnick can play an old woman, but I know he played. So he just gave me this role.
Awesome.
And it was a great thing to do. Gus Van Sant produced it, and it's going to be in festivals next year. So really, yeah, when you do what you love, you get like the Ian McKellen Oscar clip. Okay, the reason I got Gods and Monsters was, again, you know, I had turned 30 and I was feeling low, and I wasn't booking jobs instantly the way I had been used to. And so a friend asked me, will you perform at my birthday party as that character you do in your sketch show, that old lady? And so I wrote this like hour-long show with him where in drag in a Mexican restaurant we performed it, and the director of Gods and Monsters, who at that time was not well known, but now Bill Condon, right? He was in the audience and he's like, that guy's funny. I'm gonna bring him in for this role in my movie Gods and Monsters, and I booked it. Oscar clip. So it just goes to show, like, do what you love. It doesn't matter if you're doing it in a Mexican restaurant in drag.
Yeah.
Do what you love, show people your light, and then like you never know what can happen. I believe the universe is watching.
And again, Jack, if I didn't tune in, I would still have been a fan of yours. But because I saw your content, you have like 120 uploaded YouTube videos. And it's entertaining, man. I mean, you got to get it in the right hands. Okay, 2 things really quick. You walking and listening to, you called somebody in their answer machine. They have passed. What? The bar exam. I'm doing it no justice right now at all.
That's my latest video. That's the newest one.
So
I'm
funny.
editing one now, but thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, that just came out of something Seth said over Christmas when I was visiting him. Something he said made me go, oh, that's so interesting. If you say pass, it could mean 2 things. Yeah.
Jack, but you have so many pinpoint humor in your videos. Little things. Okay, I could just go on and on because I'm talking about
a video. You know, I always tell artists, you're never gonna like what you're making. It's an artist. That's just the cross we bear. But you just gotta make it.
Yes.
And so basically, I get an idea that I just feels like it's right. I take my camera, I go outside, and I film it. While I'm filming it, I don't think it's funny. While I'm editing it, I think this will never work. I send it to a friend, and they'll say, oh, this is funny, post it. I do, and then I fall in love with it, because that's just what it is to make content. So, yeah.
All right, Jack.
But it's all improv, and I find it in the editing.
I could tell. Jack, let me do my job here and go really quick through your career. When you moved out here, what year did you move out here?
So what happened was that, again, the last thing I did was a musical, and in the middle of doing that musical, I had already booked this wonderful recurring job on Conan O'Brien. I did like 10 performances as this really weird...
Brian McCann?
I know that name, but I can't remember.
He worked from that show.
I probably saw him, because I was there right at the beginning of Conan O'Brien. And they had this character of Slim Organ Body, and I was making fun of a real guy named Slim Goodbody. And I did so anyway, and by the way, Slim Goodbody called me and he's like, I'd like to meet you, young man. This was when I was very young. And I go to his offices and he says, if you ever do that character on Conan O'Brien again, I will sue you.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't know what to say. I was a little kid. I was 22 years old, and I went to Conan O'Brien. Then
wait. After you said you sue you, how did you leave that office? Were you?
I was shitting my pants, and I backed out slowly.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
He was really terrifying. Sure. But the thing is that you're allowed to parody something.
Yeah.
It was crazy behavior on his part, but he was panicking or something. I don't know what was going on. So anyway, a role came up on an HBO pilot with Bob Odenkirk and Janine Garofalo and Andy Dick.
You were so
but
lucky
Andy
to be a part
couldn't
of
do
this.
it,
Yes.
and so I sent
Why
in a tape.
couldn't Andy Dick do it that day? I wonder. Okay, go ahead.
I sent in a tape. I got the role. That's what brought me out here to LA. And so I mean, Bob Odenkirk. I worship his work, and he's the guy that got me into Hollywood for real. But I got. I got those jobs when I first came out here because of a casting person who had seen the sketch show I was doing with Seth in New York, and so he became kind of my angel. He's a casting director who I don't think is working anymore, and so that's kind of how I got all those sitcom gigs when I first arrived.
Okay, how many commercials do you feel like you shot? How many commercials? Because you
Oh,
have,
God.
Here's what I love about you, Jack.
Yeah.
Is that through all the years, I always see you popping up. I always see you popping up. And they're just
Done a
funny
lot of
commercials. You have.
Yeah.
You have. That's fantastic.
And I, you know what, I treasure them because as artists, we just want to act. And
Yes.
And when you do a commercial, you get to be something new, somewhere new. I did a commercial where they built the entire interior of a whale, ocean included. And I got to be on this whale that had a tongue, life size, that had a tongue that moved. Anyway, so you get to experience things you never would have.
Amen. Yep.
And, you know, I don't know, it's like being a gay actor or an actor that when I arrived in Hollywood, some casting people said, well, that's gay, we don't want that. Commercials were a way for me to keep working because I think a lot of people, when they saw me in Gods and Monsters, some people said, oh, that's great, let's find a place for him. But a lot of people went, gay. No, we don't need that. So God bless commercials.
Yeah, man.
Because commercials, they don't friggin' care. It's all about what you look like and can you do this thing,
Right.
the one thing they need.
Jack, do you have a number on how many commercials you booked?
I never kept count, but it's an insane amount.
Give me
And
a
I've
ballpark.
been-
We
oh,
ballpark
Jesus.
it.
I mean, I've
It's
been
okay.
a spokesman for several different companies, lots of commercials. 175, I don't know, 100. I don't know. Like,
It's
I
175 closer, if not more than that.
I really don't know, and I love doing them. But there's a part of me looking back that goes, God, you were really part of that corporate machinery. That,
Right.
And I try to forgive myself for it because that's what was available for me as a film actor. So,
Okay.
but I never did a commercial for something I really didn't like. I was like, I can't.
Have you turned
support
something
that
down?
thing. Sure, yeah. I've definitely turned down auditions for things that I thought were offensive, especially as being a gay actor, something I thought didn't represent gays. Well, yeah.
Did you turn it down after you booked it, or did you turn down the
No,
audition?
probably turned down the audition.
Okay. Because have you ever turned down something that you auditioned for?
I'm trying to. Nothing's popping into my
Okay,
head for that,
okay.
but definitely things come up that I was just like, I can't be a part of that.
Jack, what's the biggest acting advice that you could give me?
Oh, you
Jack,
told
let
me for specific details, and I just want to say that whale commercial.
Yes.
It was for Crossbow, and at the end of the commercial, my job was to stand up and be soaking wet, but suddenly in a bar and drink a Crossbow, the entire thing, and then like nod or something. So they hand me a Crossbow. That's a hard cider with alcohol in it. And I said, can't we have like apple juice? They go, no, we found out nothing looks like Crossbow. So you have to drink that whole glass.
Did they ask you at the audition if you're willing to
No,
drink? Okay.
well, no, they never do. So anyway, 12 takes.
Really?
Had to lay down for quite some time before I could go home.
Oh,
yeah.
wow,
Anyway,
wow.
okay, so you were about to ask me
Well,
acting advice.
Because that's not what this show's about, but because you told me so, because your videos last night showed me so many great things about the business, I want you to give your 2 best acting tips to these people, please.
Wow, okay.
Sorry to put you on the spot, but
'Cause
you
there's-
already said one last night that
Yeah.
you could use right now, which is don't have a take on your take.
Yeah, well, okay, so what I would say is 2 things, and there's so much, and again, it's all for free in my book, but number 1, the secret to acting is doing it as if you've already done the scene. Now, I was on the TV show Action with Buddy Hackett, and Buddy said to me right before we did a scene, he goes, and I did not get it, he goes, you know what I do, Jack? That's a terrible impression. He goes, I just pretend I've already filmed the scene. And I was like, okay, I did not get it. But then later I did discover what he meant, and then I looked back and I went, that's what he meant. So when an actor goes to set and they do their first take of a scene, it's always just them panicked trying to show what the scene will look like in the finished product. And it's not usable because it's not acting, because acting is behaving as if it's really happening. And the only time an actor gives himself permission to behave as if it's really fucking happening is like on the 9th take when they've already got it and the director says, you guys already have what I need, thank you. I don't know, I'm never gonna look at this next take, this one's for you, just play whatever, I'm never gonna look at this take. And then that's the one the editor uses because the great movies are made of lucky accidents caught on film. I approach every take as if it's the 9th take where I have no responsibility to the scene, and instead I'm just playing in the circumstances, wanting stuff to surprise me. That's what I believe Buddy Hackett meant. And the second piece of advice I'd give is that film actor's number 1 job is to get control of that voice in their head that tells them, oh, you didn't say that line the way you planned, and they don't like you, and all that bullshit. And that's why I tell actors, imagine that voice is like this vulture squawking on your shoulder, and by doing that you change your whole life, because you stop self-identifying with the negative, ego-driven, result-oriented, fear-based voice. You've created the real you, the kid in you that just wants to play, and now you can say what you need to say to your vulture to get him to shut up. And the language you talk to your vulture is, you have to understand that wanting the job is good, needing it is bad, needing it is fear-based. It says, I'm no good without this job, and I know what's best for me, and you don't. So when your vulture says you're not going to book this job, you just say, I release and destroy my need to book the job. I want to book it, but I release and destroy my need to. And it goes, and it shuts up. And then the pressure to book the job comes off your shoulders, you shine your light, you enjoy yourself, and you book the job. And that's why I call them my actor affirmations. They're the first chapter of my website. That's why they work, because when you release your need for what you want, that's how to get it.
See, Jack, that's all last night. I watched a funny video of yours, then I watched an acting tip of yours. You back up what you preach.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is how I approach acting and how the actors around me on set are approaching it. And those teachers, it's like, God, you know, they just want you stuck in their class, and they want you to believe film acting's hard, and that there's a technique everyone uses, and all this bullshit, and it's really heartbreaking. And the number of just broken actors I meet because I put myself in this world is astounding. And you know, I have there is a list of teachers that they tend to come from. I can't say their names right now, but it's heartbreaking because they're the teachers that are making the most money off of actors.
Yeah, wow, Jack, wow. Okay, Jack, what's your worst days in Hollywood? Remember, nothing personal. Talking career-wise, where you felt where you were on the verge of throwing in the towel. Have you ever had that moment out here?
Well, again, every 10 years, things get tougher for a human, you know, and it's these periods of our life where things are changing, and change is scary. And so, yes, I've had dark moments, absolutely. And I give myself the gift of going to a therapist at those times to talk it out and to realize that it's an illusion, and that depression is just an illusion of your vulture. And I guess maybe the hardest depression I was in was, and I wish someone had told me this, but after I finished my Broadway musical and my feature film,
I want to talk about those two things in a second.
And nobody told me it's not their responsibility to. I should have asked. Nobody said, when your movie is done, you will get depressed. And I just saw a video from a big movie guy who said this, and I wish I'd known, so I could have known it was coming. Because God, I mean, I really believed my vulture when he said, the best times are over. You're too old. You wasted your opportunities. And I went to a therapist. He said, you're not going to believe this in a month. And he helped me to understand that they were just an illusion. And that's part of what those videos were. Yeah. Those videos were me, because I started those videos after I finished those two huge projects, and I needed to believe that I could create again. And so I started creating with very small things, these minute-long videos, and they made me believe in myself again. So that was a hard time.
Best days in Hollywood. And don't say right now, please.
Oh God, not now. No, it's just that it's fun to be joyous and young. It's great to be joyous and my age, but you know, so I think I have so many, but probably after I finished like creating something that really was my voice. So I had produced and started on a TV show for Lifetime called Love Spring, and surrounded myself with my friends and the people that I respected the most in the business. And that TV show had Jane Lynch and Wendy McClendon-Covey right before they hit it huge. Wow. So I maybe like just being with my friends and celebrating that, or the feature I did called Girls Will Be Girls, where I play this old woman. That was a joyous thing to happen, and it became a cult hit, and having people say, I love your movie, you know? Right. But I think the happiest, the Broadway musical was great, but making a Broadway show is so hard. But I think probably the premiere maybe of my feature film, which was called Space Station 76.
Right, yes. I was going to say Spirit of 76, but you're right. Yeah. It is right.
Going to that film festival, and I don't know, so those are some, getting to do something that came from you versus, booking a big role, which is wonderful, but gosh,
Okay. Tell me about the Broadway play. We're almost done here. Tell me about the play. You got a Broadway play made. Yeah. That's big. Can anyone get a Broadway play made?
Yeah.
But anyone.
Yeah.
No, they can't. Tell me how you.
It's all about the
how
content.
you thought about it.
It's all about the content, and then if the right people see it.
Okay, well, yeah, I
But
see what
it's a
you're saying.
journey.
Well,
It's
that's
a
what I'm
jour-
saying. Is tell me how
We did not start off like, here's our Broadway show, and that's a thing about creating, is that so many people in Hollywood have a pilot script in their desk,
Yeah.
and it's just sitting in their desk, and it's like, I always tell people, no, you have got to bring it into reality, whether that's just starting by having it read it out loud. Like, that's how I got my feature film made. Was I did a reading, and I asked William Fichtner, who I had done a film with, if he would read a role, and having William Fichtner read a role in this script and having producers see that, that's part of the biggest part that made it a reality. So, like,
it just takes that
maybe-
one person to believe in it, right? Just
Yeah, or maybe it's that you turn your script into a minute-long video and have it until it's in reality. So what I'd say is, in terms of our Broadway musical, is we just didn't take no for an answer, and we just said, we love this show, we're gonna put it up. We did, for a while, we did a little tiny run in New York where we just performed it on the weekend with actors who, and that, if we hadn't done that, we wouldn't have believed that we could do it off Broadway on our own, and so it grew. But it's a long road, and it was hard, and
all right, Jack, we're gonna wait for that thing. That thing is the loudest thing on the show. That cart right there.
Damn you,
Yeah,
cart!
Okay, Jack. Let me ask you a couple last questions. What do you want to accomplish in Hollywood now? What's your goal now?
Okay, so this is probably an issue in my life, is getting my want back, because after those two big projects happened and I got sort of sad and had to get up past that, I just kind of lost what my want was. Like, what do I want? Because I knew I wanted that musical and I knew I wanted that movie. And so literally, because of you, Clint, I want people to see my comedy videos,
Yes.
and maybe see if I could turn that into something.
I
But-
don't understand why it's not on what's that Comedy Central at night? I don't understand
Adult
why it's not
Swim.
Adult Swim.
Well-
because you have 15. Because those Adult Swims are like 15-minute episodes.
Yeah.
You have so much content.
Well,
that
I've
you can just
decided I
throw
want
up
a show on Adult Swim
Okay.
based on my sketches.
Okay, you great.
So hold me to that.
I will, Jack. I am now. You've got a new. I've always been a fan of yours, but I'm like a huge fan of yours now. So please don't let me down. Please create. Please get that stuff made, because
that means the world to me. Thank you.
I want to support you. Okay, Jack. I'm sorry we were all over the place today on this. Usually I like to start from the beginning and end at the end, but you are so fascinating that you can't really put your finger on you, which is a very valuable tool to have. Like, there's something about Jack, I don't know what it is, but there's something about him, we gotta have him on the set.
Wait, I want that to be the name of my sketch show. There's something about Jack.
There you go, because there is.
I gotta think about it.
There is. There really is something about you, dude. Jack, I got one last favor. Is there anything else I need to know about you before we shut it down?
Oh God, no.
Jack, do me one last favor. Will you tell everybody out there bye?
Bye.